member, whatever you are, they were attacking us indiscriminately, and these same police officers, the captain that Nasreen just mentioned, was seen on footage putting his foot out to intentionally injure and trip protesters. And so, you know, this is an attack on our community. As you've heard, many have sustained medical injuries and was bleeding from the side of his head in those photos and videos that you saw. And thanks to the work of organizations like Healthcare Workers for Palestine, who had medics on scene at the protest and medics on scene at Foley Square after arrestees were released from one police plaza. We are able to protect our community and keep our community safe. So I would like you all to give it up to our next speaker, Enes, from Healthcare Workers for Palestine.
Assalamu alaikum. I am here today as a member of Healthcare Workers for Palestine to describe the heinous NYPD attacks we saw against the Bayridge community, the community I grew up in. What we saw was indescribable. People being dragged in handcuffs or zip ties, unconscious. People being stripped of their clothes. People with clear, severe injuries, bleeding and screaming in pain. Shame. And when we spoke out against these brutalities to the sergeants wearing the white shirts, we were told to shut up. We're always told to shut up.
Shame.
We are told we can't help. We are dismissed by the NYPD time and time again. Let us remind the NYPD that our members have spent their lives learning how to save people. They have spent their lives learning how to save people. Woo! And while we're saving people, they're brutalizing them. They're making our jobs harder. Explain to me why we are waiting to heal these people at jail support. Explain to me why healthcare workers are waiting desperately to triage the people coming out of jails because they refuse to let us treat them while they're hurt.
Shame.
We have to send these people straight to the ER because of their head injuries. Healthcare workers are still treating patients from not just the Bayridge protests, but the protests from before. We are seeing them every single day in the ERs because these injuries that the NYPD are inflicting on them, it's not just a one-day solve. So, we are here, healthcare workers, to tell everybody that we cannot be healthcare workers if we don't stand for Palestine, if we don't preserve lives. People are dying every single day in Palestine. People are being brutalized by the IOF, by the NYPD, and we promise to show up every single time. Every single time. Yeah. And we wanted to leave you guys with the message. Nirdeen, Abdullah, Fatima, and every single Palestinian organizer and every single Palestinian supporter who shows up on the streets, know that healthcare workers stand with you. Yeah. We stand with the Within Our Lifetime organization, and we promise to show up and heal and save lives, not like the NYPD. Thank you.
As you have heard, people have been suffering serious injuries, including multiple reports of concussions after being tackled and arrested by the NYPD, including someone who had previously suffered a concussion when arrested at the CUNY Gaza Solidarity encampment, who also had his head bounced off of the concrete on Saturday at our Nakba Day rally. So today, for our next speaker, I want you all to give it up to someone who was at the CUNY Gaza Solidarity encampment, who viewed the brutality of the NYPD over there. This did not start on Nakba Day, and this did not start on October 7th either. We know that the NYPD have been brutalizing different communities, particularly the Black community, brown communities, people of oppressed backgrounds and nationalities for years. And this is not new to our Palestine protests either. So please give it up to our next speaker, Jihad, from the CUNY Gaza Solidarity Encampment.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
We are here today to discuss the NYPD, aka the outside agitators, storming and invading our neighborhood the same way the Israeli occupation forces storm Jenin camp, Gaza, Tulkaram, Nur Shams camp, Nablus, and all of Palestine. They invaded our neighborhood, Bayridge, which is a diverse community uniting on Palestinian liberation. We occasionally hold protests for Palestine in Bayridge, but never have we seen the issues like we have seen recently. Until after October 7, until the resistance in Gaza woke up the world and shook the Zionist entity to its core. Ever since then, social media, the United States government, and our own city and its institutions, such as the NYPD, ever since then, they went on a rampage to suppress what's going on in Gaza, to censor our actions and all that we do for Palestine. They aim to change the pro-Palestinian narrative. They aim to characterize us as barbaric. But in fact, it is the NYPD who is barbaric and dangerous. It is they who operate under a barbaric system that is protecting US imperialism, Zionism, and oppression wherever it may be. We have seen this dangerous behavior with our own eyes across the entire city, across all universities in New York City who participated in encampments for Gaza, even in CUNY and CCNY, where we had the Gaza Solidarity Encampment for Gaza. We have seen this with our own eyes as the NYPD brutalized all those who were in the encampments. In FIT, the new school, in Columbia and NYU, the same thing. Students were pepper sprayed and choke slammed to the ground. These are students paying for tuition to attend these institutions, and yet they're treated with the police brutality. They're beat to the ground with broken teeth left on the floor. So of course, at the same time, I want to say, of course, not all of these people who attended the encampments, not all of them were students, but so what? You don't have to be a student to stand for Palestine within the university. There's no such thing as outside agitators. The only outside agitators are the NYPD. So we understand at the same time that the fight for Palestine is not just for Palestinians. It's the fight for every revolutionary, wherever you may be. It's the fight for all those who seek liberation from the Zionist entity, and their fight in Palestine goes hand in hand with our fight in America against US imperialism in the belly of the beast in New York City. After all, the mayor himself, he said when he retires, he wants to live in occupied Palestine, in the occupied territories in Golden Heights. So we know where they stand. It is no surprise that Zionist billionaires fueled him and urged him to sweep the encampments and severely crack down on Palestinian protesters. So we know where they stand. They stand in the way of Palestinian liberation. They stand in the way of the entire world standing up for Palestine wherever they may be. So I want to reiterate, since day one, the people of the encampments, we have been met with severe police brutality. Since day one, the NYPD was looking to instigate violence against our students, and they arrested many of us. Protesters were left with concussions, broken ribs, and broken ankles, and broken teeth. Blood and broken teeth were literally left on the ground as protesters were sent to one police plaza. With that being said, we demand a complete drop to the charges against all those who participated in the encampments, including the 28 protesters who were charged with felonies. We demand a complete drop to these charges. Because why were they arrested? They were arrested for protesting a genocide. For protesting a genocide since 1948. For protesting the massacres in Gaza that continues right now, where over 40,000 are dead, but the NYPD chooses to arrest us instead. So the same tactics that we've seen in the encampments across New York City are the same tactics we've seen the other day in Bayridge in the Nakba rally. And it's the same tactics we see back home in Palestine that the IOF use against our people to brutalize and ethnically cleanse Palestinians in Gaza. It is the same tactics the NYPD uses. So we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow the NYPD is gonna do worse than what we've seen the other day. What is happening in Gaza, if we don't take a stand to end what is happening in Gaza now, it's gonna happen to us tomorrow. So we know where the NYPD stands already. But my message now is to the Muslim community who continues, not all of them. Alhamdulillah, we have many Muslim organizations who stand with Palestine and who took a harsh stance against NYPD. But to all those who continue to cooperate with NYPD, what are you doing? Where is your support for your Muslims and brothers and sisters in Gaza? Where is your support to the masjids being bombed in Gaza? Where is your support to the Muslim hijabis who had their hijabs ripped off the other day in Bayridge by the NYPD, who some were even Muslim police officers doing this? Where is your anger towards the NYPD who has an office in occupied Palestine? An office over land that belongs to Palestinians. So the NYPD, without a doubt, they are directly complicit in the ongoing land theft and genocide in Palestine. It's not just an institution. They're not protecting people. They're brutalizing our people here and back home. So I want to also reiterate that the NYPD, as they don't serve us. They are serving US imperialism. They're serving this city and they're serving Gaza. But we will continue. They're serving US imperialism and Zionism that is brutalizing Gaza. But us, we serve Gaza. We serve Gaza, and no matter how many they brutalize, no matter how tough situations we'll get, we will be out here in the streets. This will not scare us. We will come out here stronger with more strength and determination to resist until victory. And what is happening to us here is not even a fraction of what Gaza is going through. Gaza is the only reason why we are here. And it is why we will continue to show up. And what is happening will not slow us down. It will only fuel our rage. And we will direct that rage against all those standing in our way of complete Palestinian liberation. If our resistance has not given up, if Gaza has not given up, we too will not give up, and we will not slow down. We will not stop until every inch of Palestine is liberated. Thank you.
Yeah.